They called her a failed soldier. Her file read, disciplinary problems. For 2 years, she worked warehouse duty while everyone mocked her. Until General Hayes noticed the faded tattoo on her arm. In that moment, the entire base fell silent. Because some truths are too classified to tell. Welcome to Tales of Valor. Before we continue this powerful story, tell us in the comments which city you're watching from today. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Sergeant Lisa Thompson was 29 years old and worked as a warehouse clerk at Fort Campbell Military Base. For 2 years, she'd followed the same routine, doing inventory counts and quietly going through her days. Nobody knew her real background. Her file was clear. Disciplinary problems, failure in teamwork, neglect of duty. The young soldiers called her Dumpster Lisa. Lieutenant Mark Davis, 26, was one of the newly assigned officers. "Why is this woman still here?" he'd asked his superiors. "Failed soldier type, can't be used for real missions." Corporal Jake Wilson would add, "Lisa has no field experience. She could only do paperwork. She'd freeze up in a combat zone." Private Sarah Miller would laugh. "I think she's a coward. That's why she was assigned to warehouse duty. Safe space." Lisa ignored all of it. Every morning she arrived at 0600, left at 1800, and never said a word. But Lisa knew things. She knew the sound of every weapon. She knew how every explosive worked, which tactics saved lives. That day was different. General Robert Hayes had made an unannounced inspection visit to the base. At 55, he was a 30-year veteran who made unplanned inspections to see the truth. When he stopped by the warehouse, he saw Lisa. She was working alone, organizing ammunition boxes in perfect order. There was military discipline in her movements. "Sergeant," said General Hayes. Lisa immediately snapped to attention. That reflex wasn't something a warehouse clerk should have. "Sir!" The general approached. He noticed an old tattoo on Lisa's arm. Faded, but still readable. An eagle within geometric shapes. A very special symbol. "Where did you get that tattoo?" the general asked. Lisa's face tensed. "From my youth, sir." "No," the general's voice was stern. "That tattoo belongs to Task Force Phoenix. Highly classified operations." The young soldiers gathering around didn't understand what was happening. They'd never heard of Task Force Phoenix. "Lieutenant Davis," the general shouted, "get this soldier's real file from the Black Archives." Davis ran off. Half an hour later, he returned with a file stamped "Top Secret." The general opened the file and read. His expression grew increasingly serious. "Sergeant Lisa Thompson," he said aloud. "Task Force Phoenix operator. 15 classified missions in Afghanistan, 2019 to 2021. Special Forces instructor." Everyone froze. The general continued. "Hostage rescue operation in Kabul. Single-handedly neutralized 7 enemy operators while rescuing 3 civilians." Davis's mouth hung open. But her file says disciplinary problems." "Fake file," the general explained, "to protect her real identity. Phoenix operators live that way. They stay hidden." Lisa finally spoke. "Sir, when the operation ended, they told us we would hide our identities, live like normal soldiers, say nothing." The general turned to her. "For 2 years you've been humiliated here. You said nothing." "It was part of my mission, sir." Silence. Wilson asked shamefully, "Sir, we thought she was... We treated her..." "You disrespected a hero," the general replied sharply. "Phoenix operators are the nation's most elite soldiers." Davis stepped forward and saluted. "Sergeant, we apologize. We didn't recognize who you were." "You didn't need to recognize me," Lisa answered calmly. "I was just doing my duty." That evening, an emergency meeting was held on base. Lisa's real identity was explained. Everyone was shocked. The next day, Lisa was back working in the warehouse. But now it was different. The young soldiers called her ma'am. They approached her with respect. General Hayes called her in. "Thompson, would you like to return to Phoenix?" Lisa thought about it. "No, sir. I can teach real discipline to young soldiers here. They need it." A week later, Lisa was transferred from warehouse duty. Her new assignment: tactical training for young soldiers. In her first class, she showed her Task Force Phoenix badge. "Real strength," she said, "doesn't come from shouting. It comes from quietly, with discipline, doing your duty." From that day forward, everything changed at Fort Campbell. Nobody judged by appearances anymore, because they'd learned that even in the most ordinary jobs, there could be heroes. Lisa's story remained classified, but the lesson was never forgotten. Never underestimate anyone, because even the quietest people can have extraordinary pasts. If this story moved you, subscribe to our channel, hit that like button, and write "respect" in the comments. Because at Tales of Valor, we believe the most powerful stories don't shout, they wait quietly.